Just for you, back again. Once again, thank everybody for watching who watches. And I hope you're doing well. Hope everything's working out for you in this lovely time of downtime. I had a friend ask me, he was like, dude, do you do all these videos back to back to back to back to back, like all in one shoot and everything? I was like, no, why? He's like, because you have on the same shirt. I was like, no, I have a collection of gray shirts. But, good observation. I don't know, something about uniformity and memory that just works. That's why places you go have uniforms and you just recognize them automatically as like, oh, this is what it is. So it's just kind of something that I'm just using not as a personal brand, but I guess something just to make this a familiar scene. So if you ever see it and you'd be like, oh, isn't it a gray shirt again? He's probably talking about something. You know what I mean? So with that being said, jumping right into it because I wasted about a minute talking about a shirt. That's my bad. Um, and this is for anything you want to do because I like to do a lot of stuff, especially if you're thinking about doing something as far as like a business or a side hustle. Anything I consider like a side hustle that makes you money, whether, you know what I'm saying, whether you want to do artwork, cut grass, whatever, I consider that like business. So the, but know what you're doing. That sounds very simple, very cliche, but do your homework. Do your homework before you jump headfirst into the pool. Have I done that? Yes. Have I done it a lot? Enough. And there's always going to be stuff that comes that you didn't plan for and the whole thing, even when you do your homework. At some point in time, you have to move from the research stage into the production stage. You know, so you can only do so much research and homework, but if you do good actual homework and research, it will save you a ton of time and headaches. And have a plan. Now, if you ever start any of your own ventures, you are taking a chance. Sometimes you take a chance and you don't come out ahead. That's what happens when you take a chance. That's what rolling the dice is. But still, you have to do your homework ahead of time. Easy example is reptiles. I am a big reptile guy. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a reptile guy. My friends call me the weird black dude because I got tarantulas and snakes. Yep. Have pit bulls too. So, it is what it is. But I'm a big animal person, but I'm a big reptile person. And like I'll see posts, I don't even comment on them anymore. But like I'll see a post in like a group or something like, hey, I just got this animal, yada yada yada. What do you recommend? Really? You did no research before? Oh, I'm gonna start breeding stuff. I got a male and a female. I put them together. Is that it? Well, yeah. What else do I need to do? I think she has eggs. You don't even know what to do if she has. Like, did you do any research before you decided to do this? No. That's all I'm saying is do your homework ahead of time. One, if you do your homework, you can learn from the mistakes of other people. That's key because you're gonna make a ton yourself. You're gonna make them as long as you do whatever it is you're planning on doing. Um, I make tons of mistakes every day. Made one in this video. So you're gonna make mistakes, but you can see what other people have gone through, and experience is the best teacher. That doesn't mean you have to go through the experience. You can learn from the experience of other people. To me, that's the best teacher. Have you done this? Yeah, what worked? This worked, this worked, this worked 9 times out of 10. This worked, never. What about you? Same thing. What about you? Same thing. 4 people say the exact same thing. It's probably right. In saying in that aspect. But me and a friend of mine, we had a venture and we had a pretty good plan set out in place and everything like that. Life literally just kind of pulled us 2 separate ways. But I think if you know there wasn't a big change in the world at that point in time and was going on, it would have been a very successful venture. But we decided to get into chameleons. and ended up working with a ton of species. I didn't own many of them, but I got to work with a ton of really cool species. It was kind of a dream come true in that aspect. But the plan was solid. The outcome was solid. The animals we were working with were solid. Like I said, life just kind of changed. It was one of those things, and literally pulled us two different directions. But we did so much reading and posts and talking to people. It was ridiculous. Anyone who talked to us, if you weren't talking about chameleons, there was really no point to talk to us. You want to talk? Oh, you see that? Yeah, man. He's got the coach, man. But hey, that was what we were focused on, and it was legit. It was legit. It was actually really legit for a while. The pictures were up. It was awesome. It was an amazing thing. Um, but we did our homework. We did a ton of research. Cage sizes. We did a ton of trial, and it was still a ton of trial and error. Oh, we built this cage up. Everything is perfect. Put the animal in it. Caging sucks. Why? Because light doesn't get through. The feeders are crawling through the hole so big it doesn't vent good. Tear the cage down, rebuild it. Like, it was still a ton of trial and error. Misting systems. It was so much work, but we had talked to so many people and did so much research. We were at the point where, look, the only thing that's going to happen is what comes up on the fly that you can't plan for. So now it's time to put the plan in motion, which we did. you know um and yeah, that's what you have to do. If you expect I'm going to start doing whatever and you haven't done any research, you haven't done, and I'm speaking in terms of like business. If this is just something you're just killing for like a hobby and hey, I want to grow a pot, I mean, that's whatever. This is something if you're trying to like, I need more, I have an idea that might make me some money on the side or something like this, you got to do your homework. Know your market. Is it specific enough? Are you pitching it right enough? Like, even before I started doing these little videos, I did a ton of research on more or less personal shows. I'm a big YouTube person and podcast person. I watch 99% of my content comes from YouTube and podcasts and stuff like that. I really don't watch TV. I watch movies, I watch anime, and I keep up with like a few shows, but I really can't think of a show I keep up with other than Clone Wars and One Piece. And Castlevania when that comes back out. But those all fall in anime, so. But outside of that, I'm watching how-to videos, studying how-to, analytics, whatever, and I take all that and put that into what I'm doing. So I'm constantly studying. Even when I'm a big fan of Kev on Stage, hopefully Kev on Stage and Doughboy are one of them too. Patrick Cloud, I love Pat, he's so funny. Hashtag, the All Def Digital team, all of them. Great podcast, great content if you ever see it. I watch them for entertainment, but I also watch what they do and how they do it. That makes me watch them. Like, why am I watching this? Okay, I see that. I see what you're saying. Like, I look at it from, to put it in terms of sales, I look at it from as the consumer and the producer. So both times, and that lets me see it from two different angles. Perspective. Lets me see it from two different perspectives because I'm looking at what do they do? What are they actually doing? The process. Now, I'd love to do the camera and, some of the software that they use, but that's easy. You can get a camera and software. There's thousands of cameras and software and everything that you can get for do that, but it's more or less, how are you producing it? How are you talking? What subjects are you talking about? What's the tone of what you're doing that makes me listen to you? Like Joe Rogan. Why am I listening to Joe Rogan? Now, I also listen to him to see what is Joe Rogan talking about. But what does Joe Rogan do to make people listen to him and watch him? So, that being said, just for you, do your homework. Have a good one.